Standing before the tall wrought iron gates, Emily took her time gathering her thoughts. Just the sight of the massive dark brick mansion peeking through the straight rows of pines gave her goosebumps. Some people really live like this, she thought wistfully. I can't even imagine how much the owner of this place makes. Bet they've got an army of servants. I wonder what kind of family lives here. She'd gotten the address from the agency. After 6 months without a job, she'd eagerly responded to a listing for a housekeeper position. Emily Gardner had never worked in service before, but the promised salary was too good to pass up. The 4 years she'd spent after college working as a lab assistant at a tiny research institute had left her with nothing but a crushed sense of self-worth and mounting debt. When she realized her career had completely stalled, no promotions, just empty promises from management, she finally quit. Back then, at 26, it still felt like life was just getting started, like finding a job in her field wouldn't be a problem. But reality turned out to be a lot rougher than she'd expected. When she first started studying environmental science, Emily had dreamed of saving the world. She truly believed she could find new ways to fight pollution. She was obsessed with environmental issues, volunteered at every opportunity, threw herself into activism, and imagined a bright future. In her mind, the only thing standing between the world's problems and real solutions was someone like her, smart, well-educated, and full of ideas. Once she got a real job, she thought, everything would finally start to happen. After all, her head was full of what she believed were brilliant, practical ideas, she just needed the right platform to share them, to finally be taken seriously as a professional instead of some random student no one listened to. But the harsh truth was that, after graduation, Emily ended up at a second-rate research institute. At first, she thought she was on the verge of some breakthrough. She would pore over test tubes and peer through microscopes, coming up with theories and ideas with genuine excitement. But funding at the institute was scarce, the research was shallow, and the team was bogged down in office politics and gossip. Little by little, Emily's fire began to fade. On top of that, her paycheck barely covered the basics. And then came the final straw, her department head started hitting on her. Emily tried to brush off his advances, but when she wouldn't give in, he turned hostile. He cut her bonuses, what little there were, and even removed her from the promotion list a couple of times. She ended up quitting on her own, served out her 2-week notice, and started job hunting again. The job market, however, wasn't exactly welcoming. Emily went to interviews now and then, but few offers were better than what she'd already had. Her savings ran out fast. She racked up credit card debt and scraped by with random gigs. After half a year of that, she found herself at a staffing agency. A good friend from college, Victoria, had recently shown off a brand new fur coat. "Did you get yourself a sugar daddy?" Emily asked, running her hand over the silky fur in amazement. "Or did you put it on credit?" "Oh, please," Victoria snorted, hanging the coat on a hanger. "I got a new job." "No way," Emily blinked. "You're telling me our field pays enough for Canadian mink?" "Who said it's in our field?" Victoria smirked. "You, of all people, should know environmental work isn't exactly a gold mine. I used to be like you, idealistic, hopeful. But let's be real. An environmental engineer, especially one working in a dead-end field, will be lucky to afford a knockoff down jacket. I want to live, Emily. You know me, I'm not going to depend on a man. But if I hustle a bit, I can earn just fine on my own. Sure, it sucks that my hard-earned honors degree is just collecting dust on a shelf, but I'm not stupid. Working for peanuts in the name of a cause. That's not me anymore. So where are you working?" "You're gonna laugh," Victoria said, narrowing her eyes. "I'm a housekeeper for some businessmen." "What?" Emily's eyes widened. "A housekeeper? Are you out of your mind? You've got a degree. You're cleaning floors now. And what's so bad about that?" Victoria shrugged. "Money doesn't smell, you know. I make almost 3 times what I did at the institute. And it's not even hard work. A little dusting, making the bed, big deal. I'm not too proud for that. I bought this coat after just 3 months. Now I'm getting a new phone, and in 6 months I'm taking a vacation. There's no way a maid makes that kind of money, Emily frowned. Be honest, are you sleeping with your boss? Oh my God, Emily. Why are you so obsessed with that idea? My boss is a perfectly decent guy, generous, respectful. And married, by the way. I'm not looking to get fired by getting involved. Maybe one day I'll steal him from his wife, but right now, I don't care about all that romantic nonsense. Emily, you should stop struggling and just try this. I can give you the agency's number. If you're lucky, you'll get placed with someone just as good, or even better. You have no idea how rich these people are. Paying someone like us is pocket change to them. I work in a house that's straight out of a fairy tale. They've got a chef, a gardener, at least 10 security guards. And the work couldn't be easier. It just feels wrong. Why did I even bother studying for 5 years and spending another 5 stuck in a lab? And serving strangers, it just feels gross. Oh please, it's not like you're royalty or something, too good for hard work. Emily, you're drowning in debt. Do you really think you'll magically find a decent job in your field one day? Face it, that's a fairy tale. I mean, sure, if we lived somewhere in the West, maybe. They actually fund environmental work over there. But here? Come on. Anyway, do what you want, but I'm leaving you the agency's card. Think about it, it might be worth it. And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll end up working for some rich, young bachelor. He'll fall madly in love with you and marry you. Yeah, and I'll probably land $1 million job in environmental science before that happens, Emily laughed. Guys like that are long gone. And let's be real, I'm no beauty queen. Why would a millionaire fall for me? Have you seen the women chasing them? Oh, come on, don't sell yourself short. Emily, you were the prettiest girl in our whole research lab. I mean it. Sure, you don't wear makeup and your wardrobe's kinda plain, but your figure's amazing, and your face is super cute. But that's not even the point right now. We're talking about getting your finances in order. Alright, I gotta run, lots to do. Just think about it, okay? For a few days, Emily didn't give Victoria's offer another thought, until her beloved grandmother, Grace Miller, suddenly fell ill. Grace had been more than just a grandparent, she'd raised Emily after her parents passed, gave her love, support, and did everything she could to set her up for a better future. Emily cared more about her grandmother's health than her own problems. Grace was the reason she kept trying to find a job in her field, trying to live up to the hopes of the woman who had given her everything. You look really down, Grace said softly when Emily came home from yet another temp job. I'm fine, Grandma, Emily replied with a tired smile, then noticed her grandmother quickly shoving something into a drawer. What was that? She asked, instantly tense. Oh, nothing, Grace replied, clearly nervous. Grandma, don't lie to me. You look pale. Did something happen at the hospital again? No, nothing like that, Grace sighed. Emily, you worry too much. I'm fine. Just low blood pressure, that's why I look like this. I already took my medicine. Now go eat, you must be tired. Not really, Emily shrugged. It's just part-time. What's exhausting is the instability. And I still can't find a real job. Oh honey, you're wearing yourself out. You can't earn all the money in the world. Want me to ask around? Maybe someone I know has a job opening. Grandma, you know I can't just take anything. I spent years studying. I can't throw all that away just for a paycheck. Right now, I'm waitressing on the side. No prestige at all, tips are all I've got. I should be thinking about starting a family. But how can I plan for the future when my present's a mess? Sweetheart, principles are good, but sometimes pride can keep you stuck. You might not even notice your youth slipping away while you're chasing something that may never come. Then you're left with regrets. You're smart and beautiful, and my heart breaks seeing you come home upset after another interview. Let go of the idea that your degree defines your path. Tons of people have diplomas gathering dust. Figure out what you really want. If it's money, science rarely pays. And if you're hoping for a good marriage, well, even that takes some effort. I know you won't settle, and that's right, but don't stress about it. The right man will come. God sees everything, and he'll guide you to where you're meant to be. Right now, you just need to breathe and really think about what makes you happy. As long as I'm alive, I'll help in any way I can, you know that. Oh Grandma, Emily whispered, hugging her. You're the best. But all I can think about right now is how to pay off these debts. I can't believe I took out those loans. What was I thinking? I just wanted a comfortable life. A good job. Some kind of recognition. But it's hopeless. Everywhere I apply, they say I don't have enough experience. And where do I get that experience? Work for peanuts for 10 years with no guarantee of moving up. I really thought I could change the world. Sure, one person can't do it all, but we have to try. And now? All I do is wait tables. All that studying, wasted. Don't be sad, my little one, Grace hugged her tight. You're too focused on all this right now. And when you fixate like that, life has a way of throwing more problems at you. My advice? Take a break. Try something completely different. Those environmental disasters you worry about, they'll still be there. Who knows, maybe you'll discover you were meant for something else all along. Okay, Grandma. I'll think about it. You're always right. Maybe I am stuck in the past. You remember Victoria? She's cleaning floors in some rich guy's house now, can you believe it? Victoria Coleman. Grace raised her brows. Really? Yeah, we met up recently. She showed up in a brand new fur coat, said she's raking in cash and wants me to join her. So what? Grace said with a wise squint. I worked as a janitor once too, part-time. You were just a baby, probably don't remember. Times were tough after your parents passed, bless their souls. I was barely making anything at the factory. So I scrubbed hospital floors in the evenings. You do what you have to. Pride has to take a back seat. If Victoria says the money's good, then don't turn your nose up. Honest work is noble, no matter what it is. And if you end up going that route, do you really think I judge you? Sweetheart, being a decent person isn't about working behind some fancy desk, it's about knowing what you want and going after it without losing your integrity. What good are your principles if they keep you stuck? Afraid people will laugh? Forget them. Anyone who mocks honest work is a fool, and you're above caring about fools. Alright, Grandma, Emily sighed. I promise I'll think about it and try to see things differently. But I want to go to one more interview first. Just don't waste too much time, love. It moves faster than we think. That night, Emily got up to get a glass of water. Sleep wouldn't come, her mind kept replaying everything her grandmother had said. Suddenly, she noticed a slip of paper sticking out from the kitchen drawer. She remembered Grace hiding something there earlier. Quietly, she opened the drawer and pulled out a few papers clipped together. As she skimmed the pages, a chill ran down her spine. It was a hospital report from Grace's recent visit. Some of the lines were highlighted in bright marker. Emily didn't know much about medicine, but certain terms gave her a sinking feeling. She started Googling immediately. The more she read, the tighter her chest felt. The test results showed that her grandmother had been diagnosed with a serious vascular condition. Emily couldn't sleep a wink. As soon as she heard Grace stir in the morning, she rushed to her room. Why didn't you tell me? She burst out. Grandma, this is serious. You need surgery. Did the doctor even give you a treatment plan? Good morning, Emily, Grace said calmly, as if nothing had happened. I forgot to put the papers away last night. That's all. I didn't want you to worry. I've been living with this for years, I'm used to it. Sure, it's worse now, but there's not much we can do. The right medication exists, but it's expensive. No point wasting our last savings on something that might not even help. I've lived a long life, sweetie. Don't feel sorry for me. As for surgery. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes. You mean our healthcare system doesn't even cover this? They only do it privately, sweetheart. The doctor said I might get half covered by the state, but the rest, it's still a huge amount. Even with payment plans, I couldn't cover it in 6 months. You know my pension barely covers groceries. And after surgery, there's rehab, medication, it all adds up. But your life is worth more than money. Emily cried. I swear I'll do whatever it takes to get you the treatment. And don't you dare say you've lived your life already. You're not old, Grandma. You've always been so full of hope. I wish I had your strength. Money? I'll move mountains if I have to. Think about yourself, love, Grace said gently. I'll be okay for a while. Whatever happens, happens. Don't worry about me. But Emily didn't listen. The thought of losing the one person who meant the world to her shook her to her core. Desperate, she called the staffing agency. After a short interview and filling out a form, she waited. They got back to her in just 2 days and gave her an address. You don't have any experience, right? A beautiful young woman looked Emily over with a hint of condescension. No, Isabella, but... Our requirements are quite strict, the woman cut Emily off before she could finish. But you do have a college degree, that's definitely a plus. Just know, one mistake and I'll have to let you go. You'll live here, in the servants' quarters. Sundays are your day off, do with it what you wish. That's the only day Alexander and I are home. Your job is to clean all the rooms daily, except for the kitchen. I cannot stand dirt or mess. Keep everything spotless. Our housekeeper, Margaret, will show you the ropes. And one more thing, strict dress code. No short skirts, no flashy makeup, none of that. There's a small child in the house. Don't distract him. Right, Emily thought with a smirk, pretty sure it's not the kid she's worried about. Probably terrified someone will steal her husband. And what child? No one at the agency said anything. Figures, pleasing this one's gonna be impossible. A college degree, huh? I'd bet all she's got is a high school diploma, and she's out here playing Duchess. Understood, Emily said out loud. How many people live in the house? That's none of your business, Isabella snapped. Why do you ask? Worried there'll be too much cleaning. My husband pays generously, you'll manage. Any extra work will be paid on top. Pay comes weekly. Holidays off. Isabella flashed a predatory smile and picked up a small gold bell from the table. A soft chime rang out, and a middle-aged woman in a sharp pantsuit appeared almost instantly. Margaret, this girl is starting today. Show her everything, and take her to her room. Today. Emily blinked, caught off guard. You're not ready. Isabella curled her lip in a sneer. Then I won't keep you. We have plenty of other candidates. No, no. Emily shook her head quickly. I just wasn't expecting to start now, and I didn't bring anything with me. You'll find everything you need, dear, uniform, toiletries, the works. If you need something else, let us know. Margaret goes into town once a week, she'll pick it up. And you can grab whatever else you need on your day off. Got it, Emily nodded. Good. Let's hope you don't disappoint me. Without waiting for a reply, Isabella turned and walked out. Emily watched her go without blinking, afraid to even move. But the stern look on the housekeeper's face was even more intimidating. "Relax, sweetheart." Margaret suddenly burst into a warm laugh. "You're shaking like a leaf. Isabella's a piece of work, but she barely acknowledges the help. She likes to pretend we don't exist. Just remember one thing, absolutely no makeup. If that witch thinks you're trying to catch Alexander's eye, you're out before you know it." "Is she really that jealous?" Emily asked without thinking. "Jealous doesn't even begin to cover it. Maids come and go like clockwork around here. Alexander's a decent guy, but he's rarely home, doesn't really talk to anyone except the old staff. So don't count on him to have your back. He trusts Isabella completely, she's here all day, running the show. We're all just pieces in her little game of chess. Though, honestly, she's no queen." "Sounds like you're not her biggest fan," Emily said with a small smile. "I judge people by their actions. I've been in this house a long time. Alexander actually hired me first. I respect him a lot. He may be rich, but he's got a heart of gold. And little Benjamin takes after him." "Benjamin?" Emily raised an eyebrow. "Alexander's son. He's only 5, but he's sharp as a tack. You'll see. Mind if I call you by your first name? You can just call me Margaret." "Of course, Margaret. Isabella doesn't like Benjamin. Dumped him on the nanny even though she's home all day. At most, she goes to salons and shops. How can you treat your own child like that?" Emily said, shocked. "If I had a kid, I wouldn't leave their side, especially if I didn't even have to go to work." "Well, Benjamin's not her child," Margaret said, glancing out the window. "What do you mean?" "His mother died during childbirth," Margaret sighed. "Her name was Cassandra. She was an angel, truly. Alex had just married her when his career really took off. He develops video games and apps, you've probably heard of him. Money started pouring in. He's a smart guy, but without Cassandra's support, I doubt he would have made it this far. When they built this house, they hired me right away. Then Cassandra got pregnant. You should have seen how she glowed. Her whole being radiated joy. I'm a mother too, but I never felt that kind of wonder during pregnancy, just morning sickness. Alex was over the moon, too. Oh, Emily, they were such a beautiful family. But then, fate had other plans. The delivery was rough. Cassandra lost too much blood. The doctors tried everything, but they couldn't save her. Thankfully, the baby survived, barely. They fought hard for him. Alex almost lost his mind. Why does God take the best people? It's not fair. Cassandra wasn't just the heart of this house, she helped kids without parents, sick children, even ran an animal shelter. She did so much good. She ran a charity. Not just that, Margaret said with a heavy sigh. She personally visited children's hospices. Talked to terminally ill kids, gave them toys, paid for entertainment, even covered medication. And she always supported the parents. Everyone loved her. After her death, Alexander buried himself in work, it was the only way to cope with the pain. But he adored Benjamin from the start. Some fathers blame their kids for a mother's death, but not Alex. He cherished that boy. Took him to work in a cradle, set up a nursery in his office, hired a nanny, never let him out of his sight. That must have looked pretty strange, Emily said softly. That's what real love looks like. It's always a little strange. Alex was just terrified of losing the only thing he had left, the most precious thing in his life. But the boys started growing up, learned to walk, to talk. Alexander began to feel that something was missing, that Benjamin needed a mother. The boy kept asking where his mom was. And then Isabella showed up. Just some small-town social climber with a pretty face. I still don't get what Alex saw in her, no brains, no imagination, just vanity and a fixation on status. But hey, not my place to judge. At first, she acted decent enough. I even liked her, though a few things about her rubbed me the wrong way. She was all sweet with Benjamin, gave him gifts, tried to be his buddy. Totally charmed Alex. One day he came to me and said, "Margaret, I'm getting married." I was stunned. I couldn't wrap my head around it, him and her. But it wasn't my business to interfere. And so they got married. It's been almost 3 years now. Only, the longer she's here, the worse she gets. She's got the whole staff on edge, and the kids scared of her. Benjamin doesn't even talk to her anymore. He only interacts with the nanny, and me, when I have time to stop by. That woman won't even take him to the park. Says he gets on her nerves. Can you imagine a 5-year-old being annoying? It's not like he's a troublemaker. You'll see, he's just like his parents. Sometimes I look at him and it's like I'm seeing Cassandra all over again. Margaret led Emily to the servants' quarters, a small, cozy 2-story cottage nestled deep among the pines. Emily breathed in the resin-scented air. "It's really nice here," she said. "Don't worry if they don't let you go home much. You'll get used to it." "I'm not worried about myself," Emily said quietly. "My grandma's sick. This job is the only way I can pay for her surgery. I didn't even get the chance to tell her I'm starting today." "It's okay, call her later and explain. You'll always get your day off," Isabella sticks to that rule. She never takes that from anyone. And helping your grandma, that's a noble reason. Most girls who come here have very different motives. Alex pays well. Sure, Isabella's demanding, but honestly, the cleaning's not hard. You vacuum in the morning, dust, mop the wood and tile floors. There's this awesome vacuum that practically does all the work for you. In the evening, it's just more dusting and cleaning the bathrooms. That's it. For big stuff, like windows, they hire a cleaning service. In this cottage, everyone cleans their own rooms. Stay out of here. Your zone is the main house. The cook runs the kitchen, best not to interfere there. The uniforms are over here. If something doesn't fit, you can go to the tailor on your day off. You're slim, you'll find a set that fits. What else? Do I have to be in the house all day? Oh, no, definitely not. Isabella's a little off. All female staff, except me, thank God, are only allowed in the main house after Alexander leaves and must be gone before he gets back. Sometimes he shows up unexpectedly or sticks around in the morning, so just follow the standard schedule, 9 to 7. Outside of that, stay in the cottage. Do whatever you want. Isabella doesn't snap often, but don't give her a reason when Alex isn't around. She's kind of strange, Emily sighed. Young and beautiful, but acts like some bitter, cheated old wife. It's all about the money. Oh sure, she claims she loves him, but she's not fooling me. She loves the house, the lifestyle, the expensive car, the staff, the pampering. Alex gives her everything. She even pretends to be a caring mom around him. And he's so exhausted from work, he doesn't notice the truth. But Margaret, you've known him for so long, have you really never said anything? Oh, sweet girl, Margaret laughed. You've got a lot to learn. No matter how well we get along, I'm still just the help. My opinion doesn't count. All that matters is doing my job. And I suggest you stay out of this family's business too. I feel sorry for Benjamin, sure, but he's warm, safe, and well cared for. His nanny's good, not a mother, but close enough. The way Isabella fakes affection on weekends. It's obvious from a mile away. But again, not our place. Alex isn't stupid. He'll figure it out. Or maybe he already has and just doesn't care. Hard to believe someone would be okay with that, Emily murmured. Don't assume everyone thinks like you do, Margaret sighed. Alright, get settled, change clothes. When you're ready, come through the garden entrance, I'll be there to show you everything. Emily had been working at the Sterling estate for 3 weeks. In that time, she'd only caught a glimpse of Alexander once or twice. She took Margaret's advice seriously and made sure not to draw any attention from Isabella. Instead, she bonded with Benjamin. The 5-year-old turned out to be a quiet, thoughtful little boy. He spent most of his time with his nanny Doris, an older woman who rarely left his side. Emily sometimes filled in when Doris needed a break or had errands. "Don't you get bored here?" Emily asked him one day when they were alone. "It's such a nice day outside. Why not ask Doris to take you into the city for a walk in the park?" "The city?" Benjamin's eyes lit up. "Daddy takes me sometimes. We went to the zoo. The animals were pretty but stuck in cages. I felt bad for them. I didn't like it. We also went to a toy store, but it's only fun when it's just me and Daddy. If Isabella's with us, I never get what I want. She hates everything." "You don't like Isabella either?" Emily smiled gently. "No," he shook his head. "I know she's not my mom. My mom died. Daddy was lonely, so he married her. But she doesn't love me. I don't love her either. I'm scared of her. When Daddy's not home, she always yells at me. Doris defends me, but Isabella never believes her. Yesterday I knocked over a flower pot in the dining room. Isabella screamed at me so loud I cried. That was her favorite flower, she said I did it on purpose." "Do you love your dad?" "Daddy's the best," Benjamin said proudly. "But he's always working. I miss him. And Doris is boring. When she reads to me, she falls asleep. And she can't run. We play in the garden, but it's no fun." "What would you like to play?" Emily grinned. "If you want, we can run around the garden together. I'm fast." "Will Isabella get mad if she sees us?" he asked nervously. "We won't tell her. She's heading into the city for a manicure, she'll be gone at least 3 hours. I'll talk to Doris and we'll play hide and seek." "What's that?" Benjamin asked, intrigued. "You've never played hide and seek?" Emily looked surprised. "Nope." "Well, that needs to change right away. It's every kid's favorite game. When I was little, I was the neighborhood champion. It's super simple. I close my eyes and count to 10. While I'm counting, you go hide. Then I try to find you. If I can't, you win. And if you find me, then we switch roles." Once Isabella left, leaving Margaret in charge, Emily convinced Doris to bring Benjamin out into the yard. It was a perfect summer day, sunlight filtered through the pine branches, casting playful shadows across the pine needle-covered ground. Doris settled into the gazebo, watching them play. Benjamin loved it. He darted around the trees, hiding while Emily pretended not to see him and went searching. They kept switching roles, making the game more and more challenging with each round. Doris laughed, and so did Margaret, peeking out from a window in the main house. 9, 10. Emily finished counting and opened her eyes, ready to begin her search. But as she turned, she locked eyes with a handsome man leaning casually against a nearby tree, watching them with interest. "Oh. Don't stop on my account," Alexander chuckled. "I won't spoil where Benjamin's hiding." "All right," Emily stammered and, glancing nervously at the master of the house, went off to look for the boy. Benjamin was crouched in the bushes near the gazebo. But when he saw his father, he jumped out, forgetting the game. "Daddy! You're home." "Yeah, got off work early today," Alexander said, scooping him up. "Looks like you two aren't bored. Is this a regular thing, hide and seek?" "I'm sorry," Emily said quickly, eyes downcast. "It was my idea. I know Benjamin's a little young for this kind of game, but I felt bad. He's always stuck inside. Why are you apologizing? Alexander raised his brows. I think boys his age need to run around. When I was 5, I was the hide-and-seek champ of our neighborhood. Sure, times have changed, it's not so easy to let kids roam now. And with Doris's knee, she can't run much. And Isabella? Forget it. She wouldn't play anything. But you? Emily. I'm the new maid. Been working here about a month now. Huh, strange. I don't think I've even seen you, Alexander frowned. Then again, I'm hardly ever home. It's rare I manage to sneak out early. You know what? What? Emily asked, slightly panicked. Let's all play together. I haven't played hide and seek in years. Might be nice to spend time with my son. Benjamin squealed with excitement. Playing together as a trio turned out to be even more fun. The boy darted between trees, looking for the perfect hiding spots. Emily took turns being it and hiding alongside them in the large yard filled with gazebos, trees, and oversized planters. Time flew by. Suddenly, Emily remembered Isabella could be back soon. She apologized and hurried away from the game. If Isabella had seen that, your head would be on the chopping block, Margaret said sharply, meeting Emily in the living room. I didn't expect him to show up so suddenly. And what was I supposed to do, refuse when the master himself asks to play hide and seek? You did fine, Margaret said with a small smile. You really connected with the boy. I haven't seen him laugh like that in ages. And Alex, he liked you. I don't even remember him goofing around like that when Cassandra was alive. You're lucky, though. If Isabella had come home an hour earlier, she'd have found a reason to fire you on the spot. Be careful, Emily. If you need the money, you have to be smarter. Especially since, from what I gather, you haven't paid off your grandmother's treatment yet. We made the first payment for the surgery, Emily nodded. Next paycheck will go toward it, too. I need to work here at least 6 more months to cover everything. Then steer clear of risky situations like this. I'm not saying you should avoid Alex altogether, it's impossible anyway. And him being home today was a rare fluke. Just be cautious. So I shouldn't spend time with Benjamin either. Not exactly. Isabella's gone most of the time, use those moments. Just tone it down with the games. Doris won't say anything, but remember, there are cameras all over the yard. If that witch gets the urge to review the footage and sees you with her precious husband, you'll be in trouble. What's the big deal? Emily frowned. It's not like he even looked at me that way. We were just playing hide and seek. He was with his son, I was just there. There's no point trying to explain. Isabella won't listen. She'd rather hire a new maid than take a chance. But why is she so jealous? What makes her think Alexander would even cheat on her? Guilt, maybe, Margaret shrugged. People who cheat tend to assume everyone else does too. Who knows where she really goes during her spa trips? No one checks. Personally, I doubt she'd risk it. Isabella's terrified of losing everything. They have a prenup. A prenup? Yep, Margaret sighed. He pretty much lifted her out of nowhere. But Alex is no fool. He knows his money makes him a target. So when he married her, it was with conditions, trust, but verify, as they say. If they divorce, Isabella walks away with almost nothing, just the gifts he's given her. And if she gets caught cheating, she leaves with nothing. That's why she's so careful. She may be materialistic, but she's not stupid. She knows how to do the math. The problem is Benjamin, he ruins her plans. I overheard her once on the phone. If it weren't for the kid, she'd have found a way to get even closer to Alex. Why doesn't she just have a baby of her own? A child together would probably bring them closer. Oh please, Margaret chuckled. That's the most naive idea I've ever heard, thinking a baby will fix a broken bond. If there's no love before, there won't be after. And second, Isabella can't have kids. She had a botched abortion when she was younger and was left infertile. Don't ask how I know, it just came up from overheard conversations. Alex doesn't know. And you better not say a word. It's their business. But if he ever wants another child, won't he find out? She can stall. And she's doing her best to keep him close in the meantime. The problem is, she's awful with Benjamin. If she'd just spend time with the boy, like you did today, she might have earned his affection. Kids know who truly cares about them. Benjamin likes you. You have a gift, Emily, you're warm, easygoing, fun. Honestly, I'm surprised you're still single. Girls like you don't stay on the market long. I never really had time for a family, Emily sighed. I was always chasing my career. I had relationships, sure, but nothing serious. My last boyfriend broke up with me because I was too focused on work. I even skipped our vacation to help clean up an oil spill in the north. We were rescuing animals. That's amazing. I never even asked what you did before this. I worked in a research institute. I was an ecologist, a lab assistant studying ways to clean polluted water. Wow, so you're a smart one, Margaret said, shaking her head. With a degree, no less. I wouldn't be surprised if Isabella hired you for exactly that. She has a thing about hiring educated help. Maybe because she never finished anything herself and it eats at her. Or maybe it's to show off to her friends and neighbors. I mean, I used to be a teacher, high school German. Our gardener Hugo's a plant geneticist with a PhD, Doris. A former clinical psychologist. This whole place is full of skilled people dumped by the job market. Why? Because here we get paid way more than we ever did in schools, hospitals, or labs. I'm sure you didn't leave your institute just for fun. I couldn't take the paperwork, the double shifts for the same pay. So I jumped ship. And honestly, no regrets. People think domestic staff are second-rate. But now I can afford the vacations I want, fancy theater nights, nice gifts for my kids, and myself. Before, I was living on headache pills and anxiety meds. Yeah, I swallowed my pride when I came here, Emily said, dusting the fireplace mantle. But now I don't regret it either. It's temporary. Once I pay for Grandma's treatment and clear my debt, I'll save up a bit and try to get back into my field. You should start a family, not chase job listings. I saw how you look at Benjamin. Be honest, you'd love to be a mom. I hope you don't mind me saying it, but you're still young. You've got time, but it flies. One day it'll be too late to change anything. But with who? Emily sighed. I'm not marrying the first guy who comes along. And finding a good man these days? Practically impossible. I'm basically locked away here. I spend my only day off with Grandma. And I'm not into bars or dating apps. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I still believe in real love. Not love at first sight, that's silly, but the kind where you really get to know someone. I still believe there's someone out there meant for me. Sometimes I think maybe I'm just meant to be alone. Though, once, back in college, my friend dragged me to a fortune teller. Tarot cards were becoming trendy back then. I don't believe in that stuff, I'm a science girl, but it was kind of fun. What did she say? Margaret leaned in, curious. Oh, nothing really, Emily blushed. She said I'd meet my true love after some treasure landed in my hands. That's it? Margaret frowned. There was something else she said, but I told you, I didn't really take it seriously. The only thing that stuck with me was the treasure part. But even that sounds ridiculous. What, am I supposed to find a hidden chest of gold? Get a surprise inheritance? Or stand under a balcony waiting for Mr. Right to drop a gold bar on my head? It's silly. Honestly, I think the whole prediction was just a cryptic way of saying I'll never meet my true love. There's no treasure waiting for me in this life. I wouldn't be so sure, Margaret said thoughtfully. Stranger things have happened. Maybe you really do have an uncle in Switzerland with a secret fortune. I wish, Emily chuckled. But Grandma's all I've got. Alright, I'd better get back to work. Isabella will be home soon, and she'll flip if she finds a single speck of dust. That woman's not human, she's a walking scanner. That night, the sound of sirens jolted Emily awake. Wrapping herself in a robe, she stepped into the hallway, where a few other staff members were already gathering. What happened? She asked groggily, turning to Hugo the gardener. It's Doris, he said, shaking his head. She took a bad turn during the night. We don't know the details yet. Margaret thinks it was a heart attack. Hard to believe, she's only 50, and her work isn't stressful. Hopefully it's not serious. The ambulance took Doris to the hospital. The staff lingered in the foyer, whispering and exchanging worried glances. After about an hour, things settled, and the house returned to its usual stillness, broken only by the occasional tap of a tree branch against a window. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, Emily thought about her grandmother. The thought of something happening while she was away terrified her. What if Grace needed help and couldn't call an ambulance? But calling her now would be pointless. It was 4 a.m, and the elderly woman would be sound asleep. After tossing and turning, Emily finally drifted off. Around 9, she entered the main house and went to the utility room to grab her supplies. On the stairs, she nearly bumped into Alexander, who was coming down while adjusting his tie. "Good morning," he said with a warm smile. "Good morning," Emily replied, stepping aside. "Rough night, huh?" he said, pausing to look at her. "Alexander, do you think Doris will be okay?" "It's hard to say. I called the hospital about an hour ago, she's still in the ICU. Stable but critical. How does something like this even happen? And of course, it had to be now, when I'm about to leave on a business trip." "What? You're leaving now?" "Yeah, doesn't happen often, but I have to go. And now Benjamin's going to be practically on his own. He's so attached to Doris. Finding a new nanny won't be easy." Isabella said not to worry, she cancelled all her salons and shopping trips to look after him for 3 days. "But Emily, if you could, just keep an eye on him when you can. I've asked Margaret too. I know you've got your hands full keeping this place spotless, but if you find a moment, talk to him. I know Isabella, she'll just lock him in his room with toys and stare at her phone. She won't even read to him." "I'm sorry if this is out of line," Emily said hesitantly, "but, why are you even with Isabella? She clearly doesn't care about Benjamin, and he's your son. How can you let someone who claims to love you treat him like that?" Alexander froze and stared at her for a long moment. "Don't you think that's," he began. "Darling, aren't you running late?" came a cold voice from the top of the stairs. Both Alexander and Emily flinched. Isabella stood there in a long blue silk nightgown, glaring daggers at Emily. "I was giving instructions about Benjamin," Alexander said quickly, stepping in front of Emily. It was now painfully clear to Emily that Alexander was well aware of his wife's jealous nature. "What instructions?" Isabella scoffed. "You think I can't handle a little boy on my own? I had to cancel my plans, but he's practically like a son to me. And you, Emily, back to work." Emily nodded and headed upstairs, not wanting to become the center of a domestic war. She had already noticed Isabella's hostile stares whenever she spoke to Alexander. Lately, for reasons unknown, he'd been spending more time at home and often struck up casual conversations with Emily. There was nothing romantic in them, but she still felt uneasy. Isabella could twist anything into something it wasn't. Alexander, however, seemed to genuinely enjoy her company, likely due to her close bond with Benjamin. Emily was nearing the end of her second month working at the Sterling estate. Grace Miller's surgery had gone well, and now she was recovering at home. Since Emily couldn't be there all the time to help, she'd hired a nurse, an added expense that meant she now needed a raise more than ever. So, she did everything she could to impress Isabella. Alexander's attention only made things harder. Emily feared losing her job. Things were finally starting to get back on track. When she found out he'd be away, she felt a wave of relief. Fewer chances for drama. By noon, she'd finished all her tasks and, as usual, went to sit in the garden gazebo to enjoy the birdsong. She chatted briefly with Hugo, and when he walked off toward the far end of the garden, she dozed off. Emily woke to a strange, choked sound. It was coming from the house. Squinting in the sunlight, she looked toward the mansion and felt her heart stop. At first, it seemed like a large cloth was stuck to the wall on the second floor. But then something inside her screamed. "Benjamin," she cried out. "Oh God!" The boy was dangling from the window ledge, his tiny hands gripping the frame as he struggled to pull himself up. In a few quick bounds, like a wildcat, Emily reached the wall. At that exact moment, Benjamin lost his grip and started falling. Without thinking, Emily threw out her arms and managed to catch him at the very last second. Clutching him tightly, she crashed into the rose bushes below. Thorns tore into her arms and face, but she didn't care. You're okay," she kept whispering, pressing kisses to the boy's cheeks. Benjamin burst into tears and buried his face in her hair. "Oh my God, how did you even end up there?" "The butterfly," he sobbed. "It was so pretty. I reached for it, and it flew away." It's okay. Nothing bad happened," Emily said gently, stroking his hair. "You're safe." She stayed there in the flower bed, holding him close. The shock hadn't worn off, and she had no strength to get up. Her heart was pounding so wildly, it felt like it might burst out of her chest. "Good Lord!" Margaret's voice rang out. "What happened?" "I heard you scream like someone was being murdered." "Benjamin," Emily panted, trying to catch her breath. "He fell from the window. I caught him." "Jesus Christ!" Margaret crossed herself. "How is that even possible? It's a miracle you were there." "He climbed up after a butterfly, got on the window ledge, and slipped. Where was that stepmother of his? What if I hadn't been right there? He would have died. There's concrete right below." Emily broke down sobbing. All right, get up, let's figure this out." "What's there to figure out?" "Call Alexander. Now." "Wait, don't be rash. Maybe Isabella just stepped into the bathroom. What difference does that make? I left for my break and she was already downstairs. She locked him in the room, and he managed to open the window on his own. That's straight-up negligence. She should be charged." "Emily, calm down. Give me Benjamin." But the boy refused to let go, clinging to Emily's uniform with all his strength. "It's okay, sweetheart," she whispered. "We need to get up and clean you up. Look at you, dirty and all cried out." Meanwhile, Isabella was lounging in the library, chatting casually on the phone, when Margaret stormed in. "Isabella." "I'm busy," she snapped without looking up. "This is urgent," Margaret said, raising her voice. "I'll call you back," Isabella muttered into the phone. "What now?" Benjamin fell out of the window. "What?" Isabella went pale. "That's ridiculous. He's in his room playing, I just checked." "Stop making things up." Emily caught him. "He's okay, but..." "You're all insane. That's nonsense. Bring that maid in here. Now." Margaret was stunned by the cold indifference in Isabella's tone. "You're not even going to check on Benjamin?" she asked, shocked. "You said he's fine. What's there to check? Did you actually see him fall?" "No, I heard a scream from the garden." I ran over and found Emily in the flower bed with him. And you believed her? Isabella said flatly. Are you sure that's what happened? Benjamin's just a kid, why would he be playing at the window? I bet that girl dragged him outside again and made up this little drama to make me look bad. Don't think I haven't noticed her flirting with Alexander. She's probably trying to get me out of the way. That's ridiculous. Why would Emily lie about something like this? She's a good girl, and you know it. You've just lost your mind with jealousy. She puts up with your endless nitpicking because she desperately needs the job. And trust me, she's got no interest in Alexander. They barely even speak. Oh please, Isabella scoffed. I've seen them chatting all friendly more than once. I'm not blind. You two must be in on this together. Whatever, bring her in. I'm calling Alexander, Margaret said coldly. I'll fire the lot of you. You think he's going to believe the help over his own wife? You didn't even see it happen. No, but Emily did. And so did Benjamin. Benjamin's a kid. Who knows what nonsense he'll say? That girl probably filled his head with lies. Get her in here. Now. Grinding her teeth, Margaret left the library and went to find Emily, who was still sitting with Benjamin, trying to soothe him. You wanted to see me? Emily asked cautiously as she stepped into the library. Emily, I believe we agreed from the start that you'd do your job flawlessly, or you'd be fired. Isabella began pacing the room. Always an excuse, Isabella sneered. What's this story you're spinning about the boy falling out a window? I didn't make anything up, Emily said, stunned. Benjamin climbed up after a butterfly and slipped. I caught him. Where were you, by the way? Don't lie to me. I had just stepped out for a moment. Maybe you'd like to hear my version. I think you waited until I left the room, took him to the garden like you always do, and staged this whole thing. Trying to paint me as neglectful, huh? This is crossing the line. I've tolerated your sloppy dusting and moved flowers, but I won't put up with lies. Pack your things. You're fired. You can't fire me, Emily said, pale with shock. I just saved your stepson's life. If I hadn't been there, how would you explain it to your husband? Call him now. Be thankful everything turned out okay. I'm not blaming you, Isabella. But I can't lose this job right now. You've got some nerve, Isabella snarled. Giving me orders. You've got 5 minutes to get out of my house. And don't you dare spread lies about me. Tears streamed down Emily's face. She couldn't move. The injustice of it all left her frozen. Arguing was pointless. Her hands were shaking as she unlocked the door to her apartment. Emily, is that you? Grace Miller asked, surprised to hear her granddaughter home. Why aren't you at work? I got fired, Emily said with a bitter laugh, and then broke down crying. What? What happened? I saved their kid. And Emily told her grandmother everything. Grace Miller held her tight, soothing her for a long time. It's all right, sweetheart. So what if you got fired? What matters is that you saved a life. What about the boy's father? He's out of town, and I don't have his number. Otherwise, I'd have told him myself. Can you believe what a monster his wife is? She only cares about herself. Even now, she blamed me for something ridiculous, just because she's scared I'll tell him everything. Their marriage isn't as perfect as it looks. Imagine if he found out his precious wife didn't watch over his only son. He already lost his first wife, barely survived it. If Benjamin had died or even gotten hurt, he wouldn't have made it. Margaret will tell him everything, I'm sure, but she didn't actually see it happen. He might not believe her. And Isabella threatened to fire her too. It's just awful, all of it. And now I'm out of a job, and they didn't even pay me for the last week. We need medicine and have no money at all. Don't cry, my girl. We'll find the money, I'll borrow it if I have to. What matters is you're both okay. Come on, I'll make us some tea. Emily didn't leave the house for a week. She thought about going back to the agency, but it turned out Isabella had already ruined that too, giving her a terrible reference. Emily felt completely hopeless. Early one morning, the doorbell rang. She threw on her robe and went to answer it. There stood Alexander, disheveled, holding a sleepy Benjamin by the hand. Alexander? Emily stared at him in shock. What are you doing here? Benjamin? Emily, we need to talk, he said, eyes on the floor. Come in, she stepped aside to let them in. Emily, who is it? Grace's voice called from the bedroom. It's for me, Grandma. Come on in, the kitchen's this way, she whispered to Alexander. Can we talk alone? He glanced at his son. Of course. I'll take Benjamin to meet my grandmother. She led the boy to Grace's room and stayed with them for a few minutes. When she returned to the kitchen, Alexander was sitting with his head in his hands. Emily, listen, this has all been a terrible mistake, he began. My wife, well, almost ex-wife, has crossed every line. Benjamin and Margaret told me everything. When I came back from my trip and saw you weren't around, the housekeeper just said Isabella had fired you. When I asked my wife why, she started spouting nonsense, accused you of stealing, of being disrespectful. But I've gotten to know you, and you're not the kind of person who trashed the place where you work. Then Benjamin started saying strange things. I mean, he's a kid, I thought maybe he was just making stuff up. Not that I don't believe my son, but kids do have wild imaginations. Yesterday, though, the truth came out. He kept repeating how you caught him from the window. So I talked to Margaret. I don't know what Isabella used to scare her, but she didn't crack right away. Eventually, she told me everything. I told my wife to pack up, we're getting a divorce. We never should have been together in the first place. Forgive me if I'm oversharing, I'm sure Margaret already told you all about Cassandra. Yes, Emily nodded. My second marriage was a huge mistake. I really believed Isabella could be a good mom to Benjamin. But she never even tried. Remember when you asked me on the stairs why I was still with her? Yeah. I didn't know the answer. Habit, maybe. Blind hope. I just kept believing she'd eventually care about him. And when I finally saw the truth, it hit me like lightning. Her excuses, her lies, they stopped making sense. And yesterday, for the first time, I understood, no one can replace Cassandra. I was a fool. That's why I got in my car and drove straight here, hoping you'd still talk to me. Because you gave me hope, Emily. You made me believe all wasn't lost, at least for Benjamin. He loves you so much. He's shy, so maybe he doesn't show it, but he talks about you constantly. And you saved his life. I can never repay you for that. He's everything to me. That word, everything, hit Emily like a jolt. Everything? Could that be it? The fortune teller had said she'd catch a treasure and then meet her love. Could Benjamin's fall have been this treasure? No, that's silly. Or, was this one of those moments where fate kicks in, and now she's supposed to fall for Alexander? Please say something, Emily, he broke the silence. Look, I wanted to ask you something. You know Doris is still in the hospital. She won't be back for a while. I was wondering if you'd take care of Benjamin. I'll pay you well. I know being a nanny wasn't part of your plan, but... I'll do it, Emily cut him off. I love Benjamin too. And after what happened? I won't lie, I do need the money. Margaret told me about your grandmother. I already paid all the clinic bills. What? Yes. And if you'd like, we can move Grace into the estate. She'll recover faster with fresh air, and I'll hire a caregiver too. That way you won't worry about leaving her alone. Alexander. Just call me Alex, he said, locking eyes with her, and she felt something deep shift inside her. His gaze was warm, full of kindness and care. Emily had never felt anything like it before. Okay. Alex, she smiled. I think it'd be a sin to say no to that offer. Just let me ask my grandmother. I can't make that decision for her. What's to ask? Grace giggled from the doorway. Who'd say no to living in a gorgeous mansion, with a handsome man in the mix? Emily wasn't sure who her grandmother meant, Benjamin, standing nearby sucking on a lollipop, or Alexander, staring at her with silent hope. But she nodded, not yet realizing just how much her life had just changed.